Hey guys, welcome to Vanishing Gates. I am your host Jay into this strange, sometimes very weird and frequently stupid web show that talks about the paranormal, the unexplained, true crime, ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens, whatever. Anything that we find fancy. You'll notice I am here solo mio tonight if you've been watching the show. My two co-hosts are doing other things. Jack is still working. I think tonight is going to be the last night of the seasonal store that he's working at, so he should be back next week. Now, I said that 2 weeks ago and I was wrong, so who knows? As for Paco, he's out and about. He has family in town visiting or something to that effect. So it's just good old-fashioned me here tonight with you guys. Let's break into cigar of the show as we are starting, and this is a Taino Classics. It's a pretty good sized cigar. I've seen these Tainos before in the Churchill size, and this is definitely like the, I want to say double Robusto. I can't remember the exact size, but it's a pretty good sized cigar, and it's a Taino. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's a good everyday smoke if you want a good smoke. It's not like a backwoods or something like that. I wouldn't do that to you. It's horrible. Next week, we have a really special guest. Roy L. Pullins will be on. He is a paranormal investigator and ghost or spirit photographer, and he will be on to talk about his investigations a little bit, his experiences with the unexplained, the paranormal, and ghosts and whatnot, and his take on camera versus audio recording equipment. He seems to lean towards the camera side of things, as you will see if you check out his Twitter account, which I will have all of that up next week. He'll be here. Well, he'll be on the phone with us Saturday. I'll have a slideshow of some of his pictures up, and it should be an interesting show. He seems like a very cool guy, and we're really excited to have him on. So Christmas is coming up. I know we passed the good season of miracles. Halloween is finally over. We have almost a year left, and I can't explain to you how sad that really is to wait that long for my favorite holiday. But in between now and then, Christmas is coming up, and if you'd like a really good gift for one of your loved ones, check out Jason Glenn's page, Cotton Studios, on Facebook. Check out his stuff. He's got some really cool, spooky snowmen guys that he makes that are really creepy and awesome, and he's even got some Easter stuff in the works from what I hear. So check it out, Cotton Studios. Tell him Vanishing Gates sent you. And that'll do us a favor, it'll do him a favor, it'll do you a favor, because that's some awesome stuff. And again, Christmas is right around the corner. That home haunter in your life, that person likes the macabre and the creepy, I'm just saying, you don't have to buy me anything for Christmas, but if you do, feel free to go to Cotton Studios and check it out. That would be super dope, and I would appreciate it, and I know he would too. Do have some news articles tonight. Should be pretty interesting. I pulled a couple of the crazier headlines that I saw. Actually, one is a crazy headline and one is just not really surprising. The first one is from ihorror.com, and the headline is, Zach Bagans touches the real Annabelle doll and people freak out. Okay, now if you guys don't know who the Annabelle doll, what the Annabelle doll is, go watch, I want to say it's the Conjuring. Something, no. Yeah, I know that. So Annabelle, though, was this Raggedy Ann doll that Ed and Lorraine Warren had actually taken off the hands of this gal who was haunted by the doll or something attached to the doll. And they have the doll locked in their Museum of the Occult. We actually did a show about it, so if you go to our YouTube channel and reel back a while, you'll find the show we did about Annabelle. And we also talked about Robert the doll. But here's the article. It's been 13 years since Zach Bagans introduced us to his brand of paranormal investigating in the documentary Ghost Adventures, which eventually turned into a popular series on Travel Channel. And in the spirit of great television, the beefy host once again did something for his Halloween special he wasn't supposed to. No surprise there. And that is actually in the article. It's not being a smartass for once. Bagans has been criticized for many things, including fakery, exuberant histrionics, and in the paranormal community, dangerously testing the unseen forces at be by constantly breaking the rules. This was made excruciatingly clear in his latest stunt, in which he found himself face to face with the real Annabelle doll, an item that is not supposed to be touched without proper protections. I don't know what protections you need when it comes to a Raggedy Ann doll. Anyway, the original Raggedy Ann doll was later stylized in the film The Conjuring and its namesake spin-offs. See, I was right, Conjuring. to look more menacing, but the original had been safely locked away behind glass in the Warren Occult Museum for many years. Ed and Lorraine Warren are demonologists who spent decades investigating hauntings, including the Amityville Horror House in the 70s. They safely, good grief, they misspelled safely. They safely is what it should say, it says safety. They safely keep cursed items in their basement, or so we thought. The real Annabelle, now owned by Tony Spera, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Sorry, Tony, if you're watching, which I'm sure you're not. Is supposedly a force not to be reckoned with. Enough so, in order to even see her, there should be holy water around, and only the most spiritually inoculated should touch her, with gloves on. It makes it sound like she has smallpox. She doesn't. But Zach doesn't follow the rules and apparently suffers from spiritual ADD, because despite the warnings from Spera, he touched her anyway. Spera became angry and put her back in the box, even though Bagan said it wasn't his fault. He also says he regrets doing it, and he has apologized to Lorraine and Tony. Okay, hold on. Annabelle, show us on the Zach where he touched you. Just show us. For everyone to see. Zach, quit touching stuff. Just keep your hands to yourself, bro. I don't even dislike you or know you, but you just stop. You did the same thing with the stupid Dybbuk box. What are you trying to do? Anyway, back to the article. Baggins claimed, touching her, I feel, has led to many strange events, and I do believe was indeed a dangerous thing to do. Nah, really? Oddly, there are even skeptics in the paranormal community who think the entire thing was staged. The doll was not, in fact, Annabelle, but a dummy. They wrote that, not me. Because the danger in bringing her around unprotected people would be too. All right, iHorror, I'm not trying to talk trash. I'm reading your article. I didn't write this, but would be. You could have just had one would be in there. Would be too great. Baggins still sticks by his claim, though, saying the killer cloth doll drew him into her space. I know Hollywood's getting kind of weird, but Zach, can we not with this? I absorb and sense energies around me at a very high level, Baggins said in a Facebook post after the incident. Whether it's from living people, residual energy, objects from from spirits, I've been like this my entire life. I'm not a psychic medium. I'm a sensitive, he adds. It's a rush. It's draining. It's exhilarating. It's terrifying, all in one, depending on who or what I'm in contact with. Whether you believe in cursed objects or not, some paranormal professionals say Zach should just control himself, period. I'm not a professional, Zach, but you should control yourself, period. As someone who is sensitive and a medium, I believe it is possible that Baggins could also be gifted, says Waylon Jordan of Paranormal Investigating. But at this point in his career, if he's going to keep doing what he's doing, he's going to have to learn to control those gifts, and know when to put the walls up so that he doesn't hurt himself or worse, others. We may be drawing at straws there with Zach being gifted spiritually, sensitively. Yeah, okay, in chat, hand condoms, good, I appreciate that. Good comment there. So, to sum things up, a paranormal guy in Hollywood is doing the same stuff with a haunted doll that all of Hollywood is doing to other people underneath them. Good, thanks, Zach. Thanks for being part of that. I can't be in Hollywood, guys. I just can't do it. It's too creepy these days. And it gets better because the next story has to do with Hollywood too. And not just a doll, though. This gets even weirder. Headline. Oh, man. I can't even. Oh, now I have to remember where I pulled this article from, guys. Give me one moment. Because if I can't remember where I pulled the article from, I'm not going to read it. Which I thought I had it written up there. Okay, dailymail.com UK. Former Smallville actress, whatever that is second in command of sex cult under investigation for extorting, beating, and branding its members, including Catherine Oxenberg's daughter. A former star of the hit series Smallville has been identified as a high-ranking member of a sex cult. I mean, honestly, do we really have to go any further than the headline for this? It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to read the article because I'm hoping it gets somewhere at least entertaining. Yeah, guys, I don't vet or read these articles. I make sure it's from a site that I can kind of trust, and that's far as you get with all that. Last month, the New York Times broke the story about a secret sorority that brands women, puts them on starvation diets, and beats them if they don't recruit enough slaves. The group, called DOS, is reportedly a secret society for the highest-ranking female members within the self-help group NXIVM. Whatever that is. To outsiders, NXIVM is just a run-of-the-mill self-improvement group offering classes that teach the answers to living a successful and fulfilling life. But ex-members told the Times that NXIVM there's got to be a smaller acronym, guys. Functions as a cult for people at the high levels of the group who have dedicated themselves full-time to founder Keith Raniere and his teachings. On Wednesday, a former spokesman for the group, Frank Perlotto, told The Sun that an Emmy Award-winning actress is a key recruiter for DOS. While The Sun did not name the actress, DailyMail.com can reveal that she is Allison Mack, who played Clark Kent's sidekick Close Sullivan in the long-running CW series Smallville. Okay, so Smallville is apparently about Superman. I didn't know that. Sorry. When it says CW, guys, I'm going to be totally out of it. My bad. Perlotto goes into further details about Mack's role in the group on his blog, The Frank Report, which has been publishing information on the group's inner workings, which now I'm going to have to check that out. Perlotto says he was fired after 1 year when Raniere caught him investigating the company's financial records. He's been locked in a legal battle with both Raniere and two Bronfman? What the hell is that? Bronfman heiresses who are members of the group, and later, the latter of whom claimed he defrauded them. Guys, I'm struggling with this. It's all this wonderful hot buttered Puerto Rican spring water that I'm drinking. Delicious. The Frank Report claimed that Mack created DOS with the intention of turning it into a worldwide organization that would be a force for good and a female force against evil. Above that, on this article, which you guys can't see, there are photos of brands that they are putting on these girls. Brands, like burning brands into them. It's a female force against evil. The former spokesman, Frank Perlotto, says that Mack introduced corporal punishment to the society called DOS. Wait, she introduced it? That's a brutal chick. Ex-members have detailed how only the most loyal NXIVM female members are offered the ability to try out for DOS. In order to join, prospective new members must allegedly turn over damning personal information as a show of trust. A la Scientology much? But ex-members say that information is actually used to keep members from speaking out about the horrifying reality of the group. Well, no kidding. Guys, if anybody wants, if you are being invited to join a group and they require you to give them damning information about yourself, don't join the group. DOS operates as a master-slave hierarchy, with Raniere at the top and Mack as his immediate subordinate. From there, Mack has several slaves of her own, who are then ordered to recruit a group of slaves themselves, and it spreads down from there like a pyramid scheme. I mean, good marketing, sure. Credit where it's due. Women in the group are allegedly kept on a 500 to 800 calorie a day diet because Raniere likes women, likes thinner women, and believes fat interferes with his energy levels, Perlotto claims. Oh, this guy's a real charmer. DOS members are branded with a symbol that reportedly includes Raniere and Mack's initials, and then it says, you know, it has a thing there. Slaves must immediately answer their masters anytime they text or call them, and if they do not recruit enough slaves of their own, they are beaten with a paddle on their buttocks. One minute. I gotta take this in, guys. Hold on. Think about it, guys. A lot of you can't even get a text back. The Frank Report alleges that it was Mack who introduced corporal punishment to the group. You already said that. When women are deemed worthy to enter the group, they are ordered to strip at an initiation ceremony and then branded with a symbol that includes both Mack and Raniere's initials. That's the initiation. I mean, frat parties can get pretty crazy, but branding? A bit much. Cattle. Sorry guys, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this ridiculousness. The blog also says there's yet another tier of the cult above DOS. Women who perform well in DOS may also be invited to join Raniere's harem. This guy must have a lot of skill and love and be a really good cook. He's gotta. Mac has assumed the top position in the harem, the report says. Well, clearly. Miss Mac has proven capable in the recruitment department, replacing many aging harem members with younger, more nubile women, the report says. This just reads like a Dear Penthouse or like an Udo Kier movie. I'm serious. This is so awesome and terrible. Without all the awesome. DailyMail.com reached out to Mac's spokesman for the comment, but learned she's not taking press inquiries at the time. Weird. Strange. A spokesman for Mac, already read that part, NXIVM said in a previous statement, the allegations relayed in the story are built upon sources, some of which are under criminal investigation or already indicted, who act as a coordinated group. We will explore any and all legal remedies to correct these lies. Scientology! Scientology! Whew. They're about 2 steps away from just having people killed with vitamins treatment. Max has not been secretive about her work with Rainier. On her personal website, she details how Rainier mentored her in her studies of acting and music over the course of several years. As such, she has developed a deep connection to the nature of humanity as it relates to acting as an art form, and a tool for personal evolution, the website states. She also boasts that they partnered together in 2013 on a project to develop a curriculum taught in a private arts academy. Was it the Private Arts Academy, the Playboy Mansion? In a widely circulated interview with Rainier, Mac is actually the woman asking the questions. In the video, she beams at Mac as he espouses his ideas. Guys, this is twisted and weird, and I'm also a little jealous. Former Dynasty star Catherine Oxenberg says her daughter India is being blackmailed by the cult. Mac appears to have mostly quiet acting. The last roles she had were on TV. No, sorry, I read that entirely wrong. Mac appears to have mostly quit acting. Guys, bear with me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this shit. The last roles she had were on TV in 2015. Before starting NXIVM, Rainier helped run Consumers Byline Incorporated, a company which offered members discounts on groceries and other products, and apparently paddles. I added that. In the mid-90s, the company was under investigation as a possible pyramid scheme. Weird. It was shut down before any charges could be filed. Investigators appear to be focused on bringing down his latest venture. Earlier this week, former Dynasty star Catherine Oxenberg met with prosecutors in New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman's office to speak about her daughter India, who is a member of the group, the New York Times posted, or the New York Post reported. Anyway, it's New York, it's news, no one cares. Oxenberg has been outspoken about the group and fears that her daughter is being starved and blackmailed. According to the Post, Schneiderman's prosecutors are focusing their efforts on the women who are branded against their will. Okay, so we're not going to take account the brainwashing that's obviously going on because they're willing to do it. Okay, you know what, New York, you suck. You suck. You're as bad as California. That's all there is to it. So, to wrap that up, chick that was on some Superman show is the second up in a sex cult that brands women, and that's it. I mean, maybe don't join a sex cult that needs you to be branded. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for paddling and all that other fun stuff, but the branding is just a bit much. All right, well, that was the news. So it's Veterans Day, and what I wanted to kind of talk about was something in the vein of, military stuff, and I couldn't come across anything nice or worth talking about that I would be able to explain in a good fashion without people on that have been there and done that. So what was done was someone who was a veteran told me an idea, give me an idea for a topic, and I just kind of want to go over like haunted things in the military, like bases and battlefields that have some hauntings, and maybe you guys can go check those out. And you're welcome to, in chat, let me know if you know of any places that I haven't covered, and we can talk about that a little bit as well. Or if you've been to any of these places and investigated or something, just let me know. But we're going to do that as soon as I drink some more of this hot buttered artesian Puerto Rican water. So, I want to talk about the USS Arizona first. Now, the USS Arizona was the ship that on the 7th of December in 1941 the Japanese sank when they attacked Pearl Harbor. So basically, what it was Japan thought they would really, really, really help themselves in the Pacific theater if they attacked us at Pearl Harbor, and they didn't listen to Miyamoto or Yamamoto, I think it was a naval fleet commander who said, "Don't do that. It's a bad idea." Clearly, bad idea. They did, in fact, wake the sleeping giant, and we did, in fact, destroy them severely. But what they did do is they attacked unprovoked. They just decided they're just going to drop bombs. 25,000 soldiers nearly were killed during the attack on Pearl Harbor. The USS Arizona was the ship that I think accounted for half of the casualties in that attack. What happened was they were bombing the ship, and I want to say there were, I have notes here, guys. Maybe I'll just read my notes, it'd be better. It's weird because I actually know a lot about World War II and my brain is just not functioning. So I'm just going to read this. On December 7th, blah, 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 I did that already. The Japanese Navy made the very poor decision to attack the U.S. at Pearl Harbor. The goal was to cripple America's Pacific Fleet. Nearly 25,000 soldiers were killed. The U.S. Arizona was a Pennsylvania-class battleship built during the 1910s. The ship was bombed at Pearl Harbor, like I said. The ship exploded and violently sank. So what happened was they were bombing the ship, and on one of the decks there was this big powder magazine. Now they're not totally sure if it was one of the black powder charge magazines or something slightly different with their armaments, but the bomb penetrated the deck, which was supposedly armored, and just caused a huge explosion. 1,177 men died. I mean, that's in one night, in a matter of hours. And some of them didn't even make it out of the ship. They died underwater. They were just trapped in the vessel. Well, in the 60s, a memorial was built above the wreckage, and visitors will say that ghosts can be seen walking around the memorial. There's actually a room that has the wall with all the names of the sailors that had died there and the people that were on board. And I'm going to get there one of these days, because not just to go there to investigate, but to go there because it's such a big part of our history. Any memorial, guys, if you get a chance to go to any memorial for our soldiers, do that, because these guys paid the ultimate sacrifice. And especially in Pearl Harbor, they didn't even know they were doing anything. They were just sitting on a boat when we were attacked. Yeah, we were in conflict. A little different, though. As you know, Japan really, really got their asses handed to them after that. And now we're buddies, and they make all of our electronics, which is pretty awesome. So, that said, one woman actually claims to have taken pictures of the faces in the water. And I've seen some of the pictures, and they're kind of cool. This day and age, it's hard to tell if things are photoshopped. But pretty much all of the area of Pearl Harbor, people talk about hearing and seeing things. Like, they'll hear planes go over, hear bombs. You hear that a lot with residual hauntings, where the energy is just still hanging out and really oppressive in the air when something terrible happened. And Pearl Harbor was a very tragic event, and when something violent, that's when you hear a lot about hauntings, is the violent, unexpected kind of thing. In chat, M says Fort Niagara. I know nothing about Fort Niagara, M, so if you want to, give me some more info in chat, I'll read it out. The next one I want to talk about a little bit is the U.S. And guys, I can't give enough information. I could literally do an entire show just about the USS Arizona or any one of these. I mean, there's so much detail, but this isn't a war show. This is a paranormal show. If I can get someone on who wants to talk about it and knows it more in and out, that'd be great. And I'm totally glad to do that one day. It's a goal of mine. So this is just an overview. And so if you're in these places, go check them out. The USS Hornet is another ship that is supposed to be haunted. The Hornet's an Essex-class aircraft carrier commissioned in November 1943. Serving a critical role in World War II, it served during the Vietnam War, and it was actually even used to recover the astronauts from the Apollo 11 and 12 missions, which is really awesome. She was decommissioned in 1970, and in 1998, she opened as the USS Hornet Museum in Alameda, California. So she's actually pretty local. Maybe I'll try to make it down there here pretty soon and check out the USS Hornet. Um, there are just tons of ghost stories surrounding the Hornet. First of all, the Hornet had over 300 people died during the Hornet's years in service. That's quite a bit of people on a still functioning vessel. Unfortunately, the Hornet also is known for having the highest level of suicides from any naval vessel in our history up until now. Who knows if something will pass that? God forbid, because we don't need that. And some people say it is the most haunted ship in the Navy. Or was, I guess, because it's not in the Navy anymore. Now it's a national park, technically, or something. It's definitely a historical landmark. Might even be privately owned. I know they do ghost tours, so you can check that out. They actually do haunted tours, and I should have kept the information to tag that on. Maybe I'll link it later to the show. 1 second. This T-Rash cigar. That's what you guys get when I don't have co-hosts. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the next place I want to talk about a little bit is Cold Harbor, Virginia. It's in Mechanicsville, Virginia. You can find Cold Harbor there, one of the most haunted battlefields in the U.S. So basically, during the Civil War, then General Ulysses S. Grant, later to be president, was doing this overland war or wilderness campaign, overland campaign, and he took 100,000 men into Mechanicsville, Virginia, to Fort Cold Harbor, and he met up with Robert E. Lee, who had about 59,000 guys. Now, the South lost about 5,000 men, and the North lost 12,000 men. Not a victory for General Grant. Actually, General Grant is known to have said that if he could do it over again, he wouldn't have done that. That was the battle that was of stain to him. Of all of it, if he could rewrite any of the history, he said that's what he would have gotten rid of. The Confederacy, both sides suffered in a tragic fashion. It wasn't just about the amount of people that were lost, it's how they were lost and how fast. You'd be loading your gun lying next to your dead cousin. I mean, people you knew, your groups, your guys, you'd all be just laying there in a pit, and you wouldn't know who's alive. It was just a freaking nightmare. So, of course, we go back to that idea that these places where huge tragedies have happened and occurred, that residual energy is there, or maybe something darker, but people will actually hear, again, gunfire, they'll hear people yelling, they'll hear cannon fodder, they'll hear horses, they'll smell gunpowder too, which is another crazy thing. And I guess, again, people have taken pictures and gotten ghost photography done there, which is, interesting. I'm going to have to ask our guest next week if he's ever been up there with his ghost photography. It might be cool. Next place, of course, I want to talk about is Gettysburg. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, guys. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought from July 1st through the 3rd in 1863 around the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And when I say around the town, all through Gettysburg. It wasn't just one area. The biggest conflict happened outside of Gettysburg a ways, but not far enough where people couldn't watch it from their house. The Union force is estimated to be 104,000 plus people in the South, or the Confederacy. I know I shouldn't just say the South, but it was the South versus the North. I'm sorry, it was. The Unions guys, 3 to 8,000 life loss, and the Confederacy was 23 to 28,000. I mean, that's a pretty big change up. 3 to 8 versus 23 plus. There's all sorts of places. There's one place in particular I want to say is a Daniel Lady farm, Daniel Lady or Daniel Laddie farm, and that was used as a Confederate hospital. And so it's supposedly haunted by 10,000 ghosts. It was one commander or general's entire group of people supposedly haunting this one farm, which is pretty extreme. Other places you can check out in Gettysburg are Cashtown Inn, the Gettysburg Hotel, the Balladary Inn, Gettysburg Museum, Sachs Covered Bridge, and of course Gettysburg National Military Park, which is probably the most haunted place in America. And if you're there, check out, I think it's called the Devil's Den. And all those things that you hear about people experience there, they experience visuals of soldiers. They hear cannon fire. They smell gunpowder. They hear people shouting, horses running. They get photos of things. It seems like anytime you go to Gettysburg, you're going to have an encounter. I've never been there. I don't know. I know one of our buddies, Dave, in Pennsylvania, isn't too far from there, and he should check it out if he's ever like in the area. Just saying there, buddy. And I would really appreciate that. Send pics. But yeah, so these haunted places, I just kind of want to do an overview of, you know, places you can go to check out military history stuff. There's also, if you want to go a little further, if you can travel, Normandy Beach. The cool thing about Normandy Beach is actually an American cemetery there that the town put up for American soldiers that died in honor of what we did when we got on there. The fact is, guys, we have Memorial Day to remember those who are lost. And so if you're going to one of these places and you're out and about, just keep in mind that if you're having an experience or an encounter, that person may have just given their last for your freedom in the future. And it's an important thing to remember because we don't know exactly where we go when we die. We don't know if we hang out for a minute. I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen to me when I go, aside from being warm food. But I tell you what, some of those guys gave all. Now, it's Veterans Day, so a better part is to remember our veterans. And guys, do me a favor and remember not to give veterans a happy Memorial Day greeting because they don't like that. It's not the nicest thing to say because they're still kicking. But do remember your friends and family that are veterans on this Veterans Day. Give them a call if you haven't yet. And just give them a thanks for their service. Buy them lunch. If you didn't, well, it's a little late to buy them lunch, but buy them coffee tomorrow morning. Say happy late Veterans Day. They won't care. And if you see someone stealing valor, punch them in the face for a veteran. It's a great honor. So Fort Niagara, I don't know anything about that in chat. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to keep enjoying this cigar. Like I said, Paco and Jack weren't here tonight, so apologies. Again, flaky flakes. I'll kick them for you, don't worry, guys. Oh, the other thing I forgot, our raffle ticket winner. I was supposed to meet with them today with the other two co-hosts, but I hadn't heard back from them in 2 days, so I'm going to have to push that meeting a little further, but we did have someone win the Cthulhu and Nessie. Don't forget, next week we have Roy L. Pullen on, and he is an investigator who will share with us some of his pictures that he's taken of spirits and his investigation stuff, and he'll talk to us about his beliefs and whatnot. He's a really interesting guy. I've been talking to him, follow him on Twitter for a while, has some cool stuff, and yeah, it's going to be a cool interview, I think, probably a lot funny, which we try to get. And another thing I want to do, guys, I would like to do a viewer story episode, so please email me at vanishinggates@gmail.com your stories and encounters of the paranormal. Don't even have to use your name if you don't want. Just let me know you want to be anonymous. We'll keep you anonymous. It's fine. But it's going to be fun. I would really like to do just a whole episode of your guys' encounters and stories. And if you guys have anybody you would like us to interview, I've been casting that net out all week to do interviews. And I've got some really cool hitbacks. And so we're going to have some cool interviews coming up here in the new year. It's always the worst part about trying to book a show is doing things towards the end of the year. I never think about things in that perspective unless it's tax season, so, you know. Anyway, guys, yeah, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, check out our YouTube channel. Please share the show and share the page. It does us a big favor. Check out our sponsors, Jason Glenn at Cotton Studios on Facebook, and check out Pro Prism Design for all of your business card needs. Awesome people there. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. On behest of the non-congruent Jack and Paco, I should have got some sunglasses just to hang here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, follow, share, subscribe, and we will see you next Saturday right here at 7 Pacific, and we'll be interviewing Roy Pullen. It'll be great. So don't forget to email us your stories, and we love you in the face. Bye. It's better when Jack does it, because he does that weird goodbye everybody thing, and I just can't.